Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
This is Whisky in the Six. I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant podcast.
It's a little crusty.
It's frustrating.
And it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob. What's going on, guys?
What's up? And tonight we are taking a page from the Jimmy Kimmel book, and we're going to read out some of our mean comments on YouTube.
Yeah, I think a few people on WhiskeyTube do this already as well, but not to the extent that we're going to take it tonight. We're going all out, balls to the wall, listing a whole bunch. There's a lot. 5 years for me. What is it, like 2.5, 3 years for you almost?
Yeah, 2.5 years for me, I think. Yeah, but lots of time for the trolls to come out from under the bridge and lay their nice little comments down. I guess when you put yourself out there on the internet, is to be expected. You're going to get lots of interesting comments, to say the least. And
absolutely.
I kind of enjoy it. I kind of relish in the fact that people troll you. A lot of times I'll give it right back to them just as hard as they laid it down. But yeah, and also I love posting it on Instagram. I'll just throw up a comment or two, comment of the day.
Yeah.
Get some laughs on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, I think so for a long time I didn't respond at all. And I was being, turning the other cheek kind of guy. Got kind of tired of being that guy and started responding to every single one of them.
Yeah.
And then recently I got a comment that it cut deep, man. I'm not gonna lie, it cut deep. So I was I gotta tone it down. I gotta really think about I gotta think about why I'm responding the way I'm responding. Because if it's in good fun, fine, that's cool. You posting it on Instagram and whatever, I love that. It's hilarious, right? But if it's because I'm being too proud, I don't want that either. I think I need to be able to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like you said, we put ourselves out there a couple times a week for the world to see. And obviously, we have a few thousand subs each, but still, you're going to get that hate for every, I think I mentioned it in a live the other day, for every 100 or 99 people that like us, you're going to get that one guy that can't stand our face for whatever reason. It doesn't really, there's no explanation other than that. Or maybe it's somebody that we know that is disguising as someone else. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I mean, these are not constructive criticism comments, right? They're just essentially straight trolls with no merit at all. So in that circumstance, I don't mind responding. In fact, I kind of relish in their response, and I guess I'll show you a little bit of that tonight. But before we get into all that, let's talk about our value whiskey this evening. We're going with Laphroaig 10-year-old Cask Strength. We've mentioned Laphroaig lots of times on our channels, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So not actually, you know what? This is pretty well priced in most markets, I think, right? We're looking at around, what would you say average price for something like this?
I would say probably 85 to 95 US dollars. I think that's the average.
Okay. Yeah. So what you're getting in this bottle is so much, right? 10 years old, Cask Strength, and the quality that they put into this product, I feel like is some of their best stuff that Laphroaig has around this age statement for sure.
Absolutely. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they drop some older whiskey in here, because when you compare it head to head with their standard 10-year-old release, they're not even the same distillery. It feels like it's night and day. They literally, if every year they bottle the 10-year-old Cask Strength and the regular 10-year-old, they took out of the 1,000 casks that they used, the top 50 casks for this. I don't even know how many they make of it a year, but it's probably actually not even that many. I would say 50 casks is probably a lot. But just to give a general idea, I think they're taking their best possible casks from that year, 10 years old, and throwing it in here, because it's every single year that I've tried from them has been a banger.
Yeah, like this is not just the 10-year-old bounced up to, you know, this one's 56.3. It's not just the regular 10 at a higher ABV. This is different casks. Like this one, this is batch, I'm rocking batch 7 here. What do you have, batch 11 over there?
This is batch 11 or 12? 11, batch 12. Batch 12.
Batch 12. So to me, this one's got some sherry cask influence, and also like quite a bit more sherry cask than I picked up in any Laphroaig 10 I've had before.
Yeah, I would be surprised if there is any sherry cask influence in the standard 43% version. Like it's pale yellow, like really, really light, whereas these are substantially darker.
Yeah, mine's definitely darker. You can notice the sherry cask right away. So
there's some virgin cask use in there.
Yeah, you know what? That's not good. That's a good point. I love to know the breakdown of what they use in this. Because I mean, you do get a lot of unique flavors that you don't get in the 10, regular 10.
So that review's coming up. We got some cool stuff for you guys tonight. Jeremy, why don't you start?
All right, so there's like a theme for like the mean comments. One theme that I get a comment on a lot of times is how wasted I am in my review. I've never picked it up before. I don't think I'm drunk doing any of these reviews, but according to these comments, I am just plastered. A lot of these comments are coming from a review that I do, like a multiple bottle review. So like the Johnny Walker core range or the Jack Daniel's core range. But a lot of people think I'm drunk, and I mean, here's one from the Johnny Walker. This person says, "Don't believe him. He's drunk!" ! With 112 likes. 112 like that comment. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I think a lot of people just see 7 whiskeys lined up and think that I'm just downing. I mean, you see the reviews. I take one little sip. I have all my notes done before. I have all my opinions already determined. Yeah. The sip is just kind of formality. And if I pick up something, you know, new that I haven't tried before, I'll mention it. But basically, I'm taking like a very small sip of each whiskey during each review. So by no chance am I ever getting intoxicated.
No, and I'm with you. I get similar comments, and maybe we'll get to a couple of those tonight. But yeah, it's actually hilarious. More often than not, they mistake me being exhausted from having 2 kids and probably like 3 jobs and whatever else I do. So it's just being tired that I get that comment, oh, this guy's loaded or this guy's trashed or something like that. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, I definitely sympathize with that because it can be a little bit annoying, that one.
Yeah, like here's one, a guy's asking me how is he not drunk? And I just promptly responded that I'm Irish. I mean, just as simple as that, right? Like,
there you go. That's enough said.
Yeah. Simple.
Do you have a couple more of those?
I have an endless amount. So here's one from the Jack Daniel's review that I did, which is the Jack Daniel core range. Plus, I did some mixed drinks after that as well. And this Drew Freeman says, after drinking 8 glasses of whiskey and a few mixed drinks, can we really count on the reviews? ? So yeah, you can, because I don't drink the whole drink. You just watch the video. It's 1 sip of each and 1 sip of cocktail, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, how many sips would you say a 1 ounce pour on an 1.5 ounce pour you would get out of that glass?
Like, how many sips would it take me to drink 1 ounce?
1 ounce, like this, yeah, 1.5 ounces or an ounce.
Oh, 1.5 ounces, yeah, at least like, I don't know, 10. Maybe,
yeah, like you're looking at like 10, maybe even like 15, depending on the size of sips you're taking.
Yeah.
Right. So you take 8 sips of a whiskey. Are you drunk? Absolutely not.
I probably would have drank 1 ounce by then, or 1.5 ounces. Exactly. Right? It's like it's very small.
Exactly.
Very, very small. Yeah, here's Emmanuel saying, after your review, you're drunk. Like, I assure you that I am not. But thanks for commenting.
Thanks for the concern, bud.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I get a lot of heat, and maybe somewhat rightly so, for my Virginia Black review that I did. And like, this is 4 years ago. I can honestly say that I tried the whiskey before I did the review once. I poured the whiskey for the review to be one of the first to review it.
Yeah.
This is 4 years ago, like I said, and I liked it at the time, but I also never went back to that bottle. I never ever went back. I tried it maybe one more time. I was like, yeah, and that was it. So rightly so with some of these comments, but can we say the guy's name that says, are we gonna black them out, or like?
No, I would fully put them on blast. Definitely say their name. We're not going to black anything out.
Yeah, because we don't actually know that these are real names anyway.
They're public. It's a public comment anyway. So
exactly. So Lucas Bell says this guy knows nothing about whiskey. I love that one because it's like straight and to the point.
Straight to the point. I believe I had a comment on that video a very long time ago. Did you look for that one?
You know what? You and I did a 38 comment back and forth. This is before you had a YouTube channel. We were like, you comment. I noticed, like, I went through them today, and I noticed that you commented on almost every single one of my videos from like day one.
Yeah.
So, and there was never anything negative. I think you just said in this one that you didn't really like it. You tried it, you gave it a shot, you wanted to like it, and you didn't. And then I think I understood, and I'm like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And then like 38 messages later, we literally had a conversation.
I think I remember saying something about how I thought that whiskey tasted like someone put those artificial wood maturation sticks in, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like those fake wood sticks you can put in that like matures the whiskey more.
Yeah. No, it's that one. Like I said, definitely deserve it. I got another one on that one. I had a list of good ones to use from this video, but I only decided to use a few of them. M Maiden says, this is so lame. It's like Hague Club, just worse. Everyone run for your lives. So I thought that was a decent one. Lots of fun comments on that Virginia Black video, and probably justified. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that Virginia Black video, the thing about, I think, like, for at least for my comments, most of them are coming from the videos get more views. So like people that are branched outside of the whiskey community that might stumble upon it, like your Virginia Black, definitely got people in there that, you know, aren't part of the whiskey community. Right. My Johnny Walker video, you know, it reaches more people. A lot of people come in outside the whiskey community, and some of them are just hilarious gems, you know. You want me to read some more ones about how I'm wasted?
We if you want to continue with that category, or you can go on.
You had a lot.
You got a few categories. You said.
So Sanjay says, rubbish. By the second bottle, he is muzzled and all is well with the universe. By the sixth, he is tough as nails. By the seventh, he is calling his girl and claiming she is a hoe. Can't trust his judgment, worth a fart.
Wow.
That was on the Johnny Walker video.
Sanjay. That's some detail.
Right?
I think I went off.
Floyd Goodenough says, at the end of the video, I noticed that he got slightly tipsy. Okay, well, that one I guess we can somewhat justify.
Give a pass.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this Johnny Walker video just keeps on giving. It's so good. Here's another one. Another category about a lot of people hate Johnny Walker, right? They absolutely think it's the worst ever. And a lot of times I'll be like, someone comes in and says, this is like the title of the video, what's the best Johnny Walker? And a lot of people would be like, none, blended whiskey is shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know better. I'm like, well, what's some whiskey that you like then? And they'll just they'll come back with like the most like basic Glenfiddich expression, or they'll look around and they'll see, Glenlivet 12. And I just, it's hard to form an opinion when you hear someone say that blended whiskey is the worst thing ever, and then that's your opinion from now on without really trying any of it.
Man, there's like very few Glenlivets I would take over Johnny Walker 15, and I'm not a big Johnny Walker fan myself, but
yeah. Well, like, you can't win, right? Because sometimes I'll say like I don't like Glenlivet 12 or Glenfiddich 12, and people will come down on me saying I'm so snobby.
oh, I get that.
And then other times, in the Johnny Walker video, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can stomach Red Label. It's like, it's a lot of people think it's harsh, but like I drank it, and for a cheap whiskey, like I can stomach it. Is what I said. That was what I said. I could stomach it. And this person said, Red Label is a shit whiskey. Go fuck yourself.
How do you really feel, bud?
Wow. Like, right, sir.
Jeez. No punches pulled there.
Woo. Just straight up go fuck yourself.
I had a pretty awesome comment recently from one of my favorites. She's got to be like an employee at a distillery that I don't follow or something. I don't know. She hates me. Brittany Williams. So boring rant.
Oh yeah, I remember this girl.
This is for both of us, I guess. Boring rant as usual. You guys talk like you just woke up. The video could have been completed in 1/3 of the time. What a waste of time. Thick Canadian accent too, eh?
That's another thing. A lot of people will say that we have Canadian accents. I don't really obviously hear it. We're not like, it's not like there's different Canadian accents. There's like the hoser accent, which is like, out for a rip, smoking darts, like a buddy kind of talk.
Yeah, I could see that. I always tell this story, but when I was in LA with my wife, people thought we were from there. Like, people would ask us which part of the city we were, like where we lived and that sort of thing. So I don't know if that's because we live in a major city and we're heavily influenced by the media and movies and growing up on movies. Like, I was a big movie buff. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really notice too much of a difference between our accent and I guess the typical like movie accent, I guess, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not talking British movies and stuff like that, right? But
yeah, but yeah, I don't hear it. There's way thicker Canadian accents out there, that's for sure.
Brittany Williams has a few doozies. On the best 18-year-old Scotch video, she says, describing a Scotch as smooth is inarticulate nonsense. I love it. And I literally sat back. I think we've talked about this before. I sat back and I thought about this. I'm like, why is everybody so opposed to the word smooth? Like, it's like using the word hot to describe a whiskey that burns. Like, there's no real difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people have an issue with it because it's not really describing the whiskey in a way that they would like. I mean, I guess there's definitely whiskeys that just read smooth, right? I mean, it's very obvious. Like, like what was that Macallan Estate that we tried at your place?
Yeah, Macallan Estate.
Yeah, if I had one word to describe that, I would say it was smooth. That thing was like blended out just to be literally no alcohol taste at all, and just like very subtle fruit, chocolate, maybe, perhaps,
And the last one from this magical lady, Brittany Williams, is obviously you have, this is on what is the best bourbon or straight rye. So the video that I've done, what is the best bourbon or straight rye? So she's only watching my list style videos because I guess she might not even be a subscriber, but they pop up on her feed because they're list videos, right?
Yeah.
Obviously you haven't tried 291 barrel proof Colorado whiskey, best whiskey I've tried. So we're talking about like 291 is like a relatively young distillery, if I'm not mistaken. I would say that probably their oldest stuff is maybe 10 years old, and I'm stretching it. I don't even think it's that old. So that's the best barrel proof bourbon in the world according to her.
Right.
Mute and never talk to me again. I literally don't think you have anything important to say ever again.
Yeah, obviously you have not tried this obscure distillery that's only available in my market, so you don't know shit about anything you're talking about.
Yeah, and she probably works at 291, and I feel bad because they do have some really cool looking bottles, and I think I would enjoy their whiskey, to be honest with you. But to say that it's the best bourbon ever, I think that's a stretch. And coming from Brittany Williams, who is, and I do think somewhere in one of the comments of the plethora of comments that she sent to me, I do respond to her asking her, how many whiskeys have you had in your life?
Right. Yeah.
Because I have a funny feeling that I've had hundreds, if not 1,000 more. So
yeah, people like to formulate their opinion very early on in the whiskey game.
Mm-hmm. And like with authority.
So I want to get to the category of comments where people think I'm completely making up my tasting notes, like just completely bullshitting. Because we all know that every bottle of whiskey has all the ingredients of every flavor listed on it, right? According to Tara, she says, I think these people are all faking it. How can someone taste and detect so many ingredients? Because prunes and figs and dates and raisins all get mixed in with this stuff, and you can read it right on the back. It says it right there, right?
I love that she used the word ingredients.
I mean, how do you just get all these ingredients out of a whiskey?
You know, it's sad though, because she might actually think that you think that those are actually in the whiskey.
I think that's a common misconception, is people think I'm just thinking that whiskey is made with more than just 4 ingredients, right?
Yeah. Oh man, good times. I love it. This is we should have done this a long time ago.
Daniel Beavers says, how do I find all these Christmas flavors? For some reason, I am only getting shit. Oh, wait. I'm getting something new. Yeah, I'm getting a little puke mixed with a little piss, a little smoke, and rubbing alcohol. Damn, sucks I don't have these professional palates like they do. I am sure missing out, LOL. I just promptly responded, try brushing your teeth. Maybe you won't be tasting poo in your mouth anymore.
And then I think you've alluded to this before. Like, how do you know what poo tastes like? How do you know what poo and puke? Well, puke, I guess we all know what puke tastes like, but pee and poo, how do you know? I don't know.
Well, this S dog says it all tastes like piss, beer, malt liquor, whiskey, vodka, and wine, etc. The trick is to find one that tastes like piss the least.
Ugh.
The least amount of piss in your mouth is what he's striving for.
So he's looking for the really watered down kind of pee. One that comes
40,
out
40 ABV pee.
The pee that doesn't even have a tinge of yellow in it because he drank so much water that day. That's the quality pee right there. I got a fun one. This guy David Howard has been commenting on my channel for a while, and I have a funny feeling he's just someone from Whiskey Tube that is using a different name. But it's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm sure there's a lot of guys like that. I don't know how they have the time, but hey, whatever works. So David Howard says, apparently Whiskey in the Six thinks whiskey is only good if it's pretentiously priced. This dude is a major schmuck. Thanks, David. I got more from David. He's got lots.
That's one thing about people. Like, people take a lot of offense if you review a whiskey that's expensive, and I don't really get it. Like, it's an opinion on a product. I mean, there's reviews out there of, I'm sure, Ferraris, and are you going to their review and being like, I can't afford this car, go fuck yourself? Like, it's a review of, if it's a review of a product, just like, if it's out of your budget, then it doesn't mean that you can't pick up some value from the review. I don't get stuff like that.
David Howard makes a point to always talk about price. So he does two more. And one of these is on a video that says the best 25-year-old whiskey. So, no, Scotch. Sorry, I lied. It's the best 25-year-old Scotch. So what's the price range, please, my friend, that you think a 25-year-old Scotch is in the year 2021?
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, what is it? It's got to be like between $300 and $1,000. That's a 25-year-old Scotch now, right?
I think the cheapest one you can probably get that comes to mind right away for me is Glenfarclas 25. That's probably the best price. And I think those are around 175 US, maybe 150 if you can find it on sale, perhaps. But yeah, and that's the outlier. Most of them, yeah, you're starting at $250, $300 for sure.
So he says, I'm sure you're a nice bloke. With that said, your channel is the exact opposite of what Ralphie's is. That's not good. Recommending pretentious whiskeys that most will not be able to get nor afford. You are doing great work. ...
Yeah, this guy obviously hasn't seen Ralphie review a Brora, like 30-year-old. He hasn't seen him review. There's a couple other ones that Ralphie has reviewed that are just like exact opposite of what he's talking about, but whatever.
Where am I supposed to go with the best 25-year-old list? Like, these are the 25-year-olds I've tried. What would you like me to do? Like, I'm going to invent some 25-year-old whiskeys for you and put those on the list because that makes sense. I apologize. Yeah. I'm sorry that 25-year-old Scotch just costs so much money.
Right? Yeah. That was one question that I actually asked Narby. I'm like, you guys get some flack about only reviewing like these crazy, high-end whiskeys? And he said, not really. I don't think he's got too many comments about, people being angry at him for reviewing something that's expensive. So yeah, it makes no sense.
I have a face that people just want to punch, I think. I don't know what it is. It must be the face that people want to punch. We're going to get a whole bunch of comments underneath tonight. Yeah, Rob, you definitely have that face that we want to punch. So what's the next category you have on this list?
Oh, I still got more about people knowing exactly what like poo tastes like. Here's one saying that, this is from the Johnny Walker video. Smelling red is like smelling a cow fart. Get this guy off.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Didn't like that. This Tom person said, I can't stand this type of pretentious shit. Oh, I taste prunes. Oh, I taste the guy who bottled it. His name was James. Shut the hell up and drink the damn whiskey. Didn't like that I was giving tasting notes. I responded to this guy in a very calm and collected way, and I said, it's okay if you can't pick up the more delicate notes in a whiskey. It takes a little time and practice. Simply try to start with the basics. The official Johnny Walker website lists the following notes for the black label: tropical dark fruits, sweet vanilla, creamy toffee, and warming smoke. Maybe you can pick up some of those. Everyone's different. Cheers, fuckface.
subtle person. That's awesome. You know, it sometimes it gets the better of me for sure. Like it's like road rage, right? Like there's those times where this guy cuts you off. You're like, all right, man, have a good day. And then they get you on that bad day, like that, like, you know, like everything just went wrong. You like, whatever, slipped on the ice on your way to your car, getting to see in a rush. Your kids didn't want to cooperate and put on their jackets and boots. Like it's just, and then that guy cuts you off and gives you the finger. He cut you off and gave you the finger. Right. All right, now you're getting a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
That's these comments. Like I would say 9 times out of 10, I just let them go. Lately, not so much. During COVID, probably that's probably self-explanatory. But yeah, it's been hard to let these things go lately. It's been really hard.
Yeah.
I got a great one right here from Grind and Shine. So Grind and Shine, what do you think this guy's hobbies are? I'm gonna say he probably works out, maybe grind and shine, maybe I don't know. Anyway, so good old Grind and Shine says, "Do you wear anything but kickboxing shirts? I smell a big ego, but see a slim man." Like, well, I think I was just trying to advertise for my other company. But thanks,
obviously man. Not aware of Sixer kickboxing.
Sure. I smell a big ego. What does a big ego smell like?
Yeah, I don't know. People sure do know what a lot of things smell and taste like.
They can taste, sound, and smell color.
Going back to the one category where people think that they know a lot about whiskey and they think that, you know, blended whiskey is the worst thing in the history of the world. So another one from What's the Best Johnny Walker video, and this person responds, "The one you pour down the drain first. Whiskey shouldn't have a cigar put out in it. Tastes like hell. All of the Walkers. What's better, you say? Eagle Rare for starters. And if you're man enough, Bookers. If you haven't had either, don't bother speaking to me, you neck-bearded hipster." So this guy is suggesting that I drink Eagle Rare, and if I'm man enough to drink Bookers. I guess he hasn't seen my Bookers Rye review. Or any of the bourbon reviews that I've done before.
But, that one under Bourbon Tater.
Sorry, yeah, man. Totally not man enough for Bookers. Just don't look at all the reviews I've done on Pappy or BTAC or anything like that.
Oh man, I almost feel like sometimes I'm embarrassed responding to these guys because it's like, why do I allow them to bring me to their level? I got Cliff Norman. How can you seriously include, this is on my Whiskey of the Year for, I think it was 2019. I think it's 2019. How can you seriously include the Jack Daniels? This is the Heritage Barrel, the one that like literally sold out in like a month, and they had thousands of bottles, and everybody to this day thinks it's incredible. Anyway, Jack Daniels Heritage Barrel. How can you seriously include Jack Daniels? That is like a smile. You are on candid camera. I'm sure that you were under some huge pressure to add that. So like, I guess this guy's assuming that I'm paid by Jack Daniels. Jack, anyone that's involved in paying people for reviewing your product, please send me some money. I want some money because I've been in the red for 5 years. So wait, I'm not done. Was it not a major tongue-in-cheek inclusion? Bizarre. And then he follows up that comment with another comment on the same video saying, don't you think $500 is already a ridiculous limit? question mark. Seriously, exclamation mark. First, he's ripping on me for putting a very affordable whiskey on my top 6 whiskeys of the year. And then he loses his mind that I will not include that I let my whiskeys go up to $500. All right, man. You know what, Cliff? You do you, buddy.
Yeah. I think I've seen Cliff's comments before. I might have even jumped in and give him a little comment back, I think, on some of those. I got a really long one here. This again was from the what's the best Johnny Walker, the video that just keeps on giving. So this person, Charles, he responds, 1, this is not the whole Johnny Walker line. They couldn't afford the blue label Ghost. 2, they also failed to include the Game of Thrones lines. The Song of Fire is particularly nice. 3, all this nose crap is just that, crap. You can smell a whole shitload of smells from things, but that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes I smell piss, and it smells like popcorn. Doesn't mean anything. 4, double black is of course going to be twice as smoky as black. 5, green label is shit. Completely forgettable. 6, gold label should be recommended for fans of Glenmorangie, especially the Quinta Rubin, which is a port matured whiskey, but that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Video note. You can't just quote shit like Fig Newtons as though it is a flavor. It's like if I said something tasted like Pop-Tarts, a nice pumpkin cinnamon. Bored, all caps. Moving on. Blue label is shit. Tastes like garbage. If you really like whiskey, find another one that fits your flavor. I recommend Ardbeg Corey Reckon. Okay, that's good. Johnny Blue is fucking horse piss. Not worth it at all.
All right.
Long-winded.
That was quite long-winded. Very detailed. And he was bored.
Bored?
He's bored with the video, so he decided to write you a paragraph-long message instead of just clicking the X, which is what normal people do.
I love how he recommends a port-finished whiskey for Johnny Walker Gold, which has no port influence at all in it. But yeah, obviously he knows way more than anyone else, so good for him.
Of course he does. Because Johnny Walker Blue tastes like horse piss.
Yeah, horse piss.
Specifically
that animal's pee and not a different animal.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here's one that someone knows exactly my political stance. You want to hear this one?
Yeah, I do actually.
This is from Barry Cole. This is from, again, the Johnny Walker video. He says, hey, honey, we got some liberal from Ontario telling us what kind of whiskey we should be barfing up. Want to watch? Didn't think so.
Wow. That's the guy that was wearing the Vikings helmet.
Yeah, that's the guy that stormed the Capitol, right?
He stormed the Capitol yesterday.
He's not gonna let no libtard from freaking Ontario tell him what whiskey to drink. Right?
Which oh man, let's not get into that, but oh man, I'm sure he's a very good guy.
Yeah, of course. I love how he pretends he's talking to his wife or something in the comment. It's like, hey, honey, check this out.
Some of the comments just like, I'm reading them and I'm like, I have no idea what you are trying to say, let alone what you've said. Like, I wish I would have like just kept all the bad comments. I think I send you guys them periodically as like an outlet. And then every once in a while, like you'll jump in and be like all over this guy and just rip him to shreds. I haven't had a comment like that in a long time where it was like egregiously like ridiculous, but there's a couple comments. So I have about 3 more, but I have a story behind the one that I told you hurts the most. And
Okay.
Go ahead. We'll get into detail about that one. So recently I started online teaching again on Monday. All right. So Christmas vacation's over. Start online teaching. Let me paint the picture for you over here. So I'm online teaching my grade 4s. My wife is online teaching her grade 8s, and we have to somehow help our son who's in kindergarten with his online learning and occupy my daughter who's 3 years old with living. so some guy jumps on, I think his name was like Killer Miller. That was his handle on YouTube. And he jumps in with a comment basically saying, I'm pretentious and this channel is not for him, with a question mark. So is this my opportunity to convince him now that this channel is for him? I'm not sure. I don't know where we were going with that. But he went on in that comment to say, I only buy $50 to $60 whiskeys and I'm poor. And I'm like in my head, well, hey, if you're buying $50 to $60 whiskeys, then A, you're not poor. That was my comment. And he's like, it's a figure of speech. Get it, got it, good. So he's getting like upset now with my comment. Basically, I said, like, honestly, I don't have time for your stupidity. And I actually feel bad because this could have been, I could have just from the first comment said, hey, man, I don't know if this channel is for you, but I'd be happy to give you a list of affordable whiskeys that are great. That's what I should have said. I didn't say that. I got snarky. I had a horrible day. It was a rough one. Cue Nicole Olson. So when I hear that name, I think of my grandmother, and I'm Italian, but like I just think of like a grandmom who's like watching my reply to her son who's like in his 30s or 40s, just not happy, not having it. So Nicole Olson comments, Rob, a few of us have watched your videos and I could say you're not that nice of a person. I was like, ow, that hurts. I don't know why that hurt so much, but I was like, that really hurt.
Oh man, that's so nuts. Like
that cut deep, man. That like I'm not gonna lie. That like I'm like, Mom, is that you?
a few of us have watched. What does she mean? Like people in her household, like she's come to this conclusion. Like my whole family thinks you're not a nice person.
My whole family thinks you're a big douchebag. That's what I got. And then I was like, who, you, Killer Miller, and your dog? Like, what are we talking about here, man? Like, we've all come to this conclusion. Yeah. I think I honestly said, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. All the best. Like, I had no. She really got me like. I don't know. Like she got me thinking, like, is it worth it responding to these people in a negative way? Because, man, like, who knows what kind of bad day the guy that sent that comment was having? And maybe, I'm not saying this is happening, but who knows? Like, I don't even want to like put together scenarios that could be happening by firing back at these people. Obviously, if they feel passionate enough to drop a negative comment on your channel, something's going on with them. Like I don't think I've ever written a negative comment on anybody's channel ever. Like even when I wasn't on YouTube, I just never found it necessary or the time for it. Right. I don't like, if I didn't like it, I would just go to the next video. That's essentially all I did. I never actually got offended and said, hey, I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of things to be offended about, but a whiskey video?
You kidding me? We're living in the age of being offended by everything. Keyboard warriors. I mean, it's a game. It's a whole game.
That's true.
If you're gonna come at someone, make sure that you can spell properly. Here's a comment by Rohit Berms, who says he dumb as hell, and he spelled dumb wrong. D-U-M. So I just nicely corrected him that dumb is spelled D-U-M-B. Idiot. He looks dumb now. Douche.
I love it. That's so awesome. Honestly, well, you have a viral video that still like gets how many views do you think that Johnny Walker video gets you a day?
It gets like 2,500 a day.
That's like, so you're gonna get, like, no matter what, you're gonna get a whole bunch of negative comments, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's like I said, it's the video that keeps on giving. Like every so often, there's just a hilarious comment on there. Here's one. Again, if you're gonna come at someone, make sure that you know that you're right. So this person says, this is on the Johnny Walker video again. Artificially colored ? I'm pretty sure whiskey gets its color from the barrel. LOL. This is supposed to be a whiskey channel. So I calmly educated this person on artificial coloring in whiskey. Didn't go too crazy on them, but
what you should have done is dropped a link from Amazon for like E150.
Yeah.
Here, you can purchase it right here. This is what they're using.
There's been a lot of comments like that, actually, because I do say that I'm not going to comment on color in the Johnny Walker video because all of these are artificially colored. And a lot of people are like, how do you know? And I just tell them that, well, in Germany, they require all of their imports to list artificial coloring or whatever it is. They have some regulation in Germany. So if you buy a bottle in Germany that's been artificially colored with Scotch or whatever, it will say artificial coloring on the bottle itself. Yeah. So that's how we know. That's how we know what whiskeys are artificially colored and which ones are not.
Then you'll get like the really technical guy that'll be like, well, technically they're using a sherry cask, so that's artificial coloring because the sherry color is imparted into the whiskey.
Okay.
Sure, you win.
So does that mean that if you char a barrel that it's going to be artificially colored because the char releases darker colors into the whiskey as well?
I guess based on that logic, then it should, right?
So I guess anything that has any color to it is artificial, and this is just like, pure white dog off the still.
Yeah, exactly. So we can no longer have whiskey. Whiskey cannot be called natural color. It's
right.
Not allowed.
Okay. Sure.
You guys win.
Have you ever referred to whiskey as, quote, juice before?
So I gotta say no.
Okay. Because I did one time, and this person commented, this is on my Glendronach core range. He said, good video, though I don't like how you try to act hard and call whiskey juice. I guess I was trying to act way too hard. And yeah, trying to
how is that like cool. The definition of acting hard? Like, could I see your definition of what hard equals? Like,
act so hard by saying cool words like juice.
It's frequently used in the industry. It's a frequently used word. I don't use it personally, but I lied before. I probably have used it once or twice, but it's not something I use regularly, but it's a commonly used word.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people refer, like, it's like great juice or whatever. It's, it might be kind of a slang that people might find is kind of douchey thing to say. I think that's the only time I've ever said it. I don't remember ever saying that in a review before or after, but
I think then you got to start breaking down all the things we say. Like, if you say something is a banger, does that mean, like, are we trying to be hard by like?
Yeah, I think that's even trying to be more hard than juice,
right? Because it's a banger. That's like it's like like a fighter. I don't know. You can't. Well, one thing I've learned in my profession that is outside of this whiskey YouTubing thing is you will never please everybody. It's absolutely impossible. You'll never please everybody. I think I hold the crown for thumbs down out of all the whiskey tubers. Well, maybe Swami, but I'm up there for sure. I definitely ignite a hatred in people. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's one guy said I sound like a boxer that's taken one too many punches. Maybe it's that like Rocky sounding. I don't know if I have that, but I think a lot of people just, I have a face that they like to hate. So I don't know what it is.
Do you got one more?
So I wish I would have captioned that Rocky one, that boxer, you sound like you've taken one too many punches to the head, but I don't have it here. I do have one from iPad1 who comments, this is in regards to us saying that distilleries will send better samples than what's in the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. So iPad1 says, that's why you should never accept freebies off distilleries. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to give you the better stuff I always do. So stop taking freebies. I have no idea what he's actually trying to say here. I'm going to repeat this. That's why you should never accept freebies off distilleries. What do you think? No periods, commas, anything like that. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to give you the better stuff I always do. So stop taking freebies. Is that you, McAllen? Like, who are you? Like, I'm going to give you. Okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, that goes right to like Jim Murray, right? Because that's another thing that people were talking about. And someone got really, I should really bring up that one, because someone got really upset that we were bashing Jim Murray one time on a rant. And one thing that we said is like, is Jim Murray getting these samples sent to him from distilleries that are way better than what gets bottled? And we said that, of course, he shouldn't be accepting those free samples because he should know better than that's not going to be the stuff that gets released to the public, right?
Right.
And he was defending Jim Murray and doing exactly that. He's like, no, of course he's got to review those because he reviews, 3,000 whiskeys a year, blah, blah, blah. And it's the only way he could ever do it. I'm like, well, that's why he gets all this hate, man. Like, I'm like, what do you want us to say? Like, he shouldn't be taking those samples because he should know better that those are better than what's going to get bottled.
Well, and that's probably my biggest beef with reviewing a sample. And like the most respected reviewer in the industry reviews samples. So I don't discredit him at all. I don't think he's less of a reviewer. In fact, I hold his reviews in the highest regard, which is Serge. He reviews mostly samples, and they're like, the 50 milliliter sample of whatever that bottle is. And like I said, I want to repeat this. I hold him in the highest regard of whiskey reviewers. I think he's the most honest, sincere reviewer there is out there. Now, not to discredit anybody else. I'm just saying I think he's up there with the elite. I don't think I can give a whiskey a proper score with only one or two tastings of that whiskey. I don't think it's fair to the whiskey. I don't think I know for a fact I've had bottles that I neck poured and loved and hated 3 drams in and hated it for the rest of the bottle.
Yeah.
And the opposite, more likely, I neck poured and hated and then fell in love closer to the halfway point. You know what I mean? So or at least maybe not the halfway point, but letting it sit open for a few months. You know what I mean? So I find it very difficult to review samples. I would assume that you're the same way because I only ever see you reviewing bottles. I don't know.
Yeah. The only time I'll throw a sample up there is if it's like out of necessity. Like if I'm doing like the Klein Leash review that I did a whole bunch of different Klein Leashes that I got samples of just because, they're 25-year-old, 26-year-old bottles, very expensive. There's no way I'm going to get every single bottle. So you can always take that with a grain of salt. I think that Serge was without a doubt the most respected whiskey reviewer because he's reviewed 17,000 whiskeys, and that's just what he's posted on his website. He's tried everything from the very, very best, the crap. So his palate is very experienced. So
yeah,
I got one more. This one is coming from a user named Glitch. He says, "You just made whiskey drinking queer with this video. Go drink your damn wine spritzers and leave the good stuff to normal dudes." And this comment came, I think it was in June of last year, the year before. And I responded, "Well, it's Pride Month, so you're welcome." And I gave him a kissy heart emoji.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I mean, like, is that stuff even done anymore? Like, I don't know. Maybe because we live in the GTA, like, we are so shocked at, like, the language people can use. Like, wow. That's offensive, man. That's super offensive. Poor, like, so wait, and based on his assessment of whiskey, that means that homosexual people can't have whiskey, or if they do, it's like I don't necessarily. I have no idea what this guy's trying to say.
I think he's saying
like
that whiskey,
also the guy wearing the horns.
And the whiskey is a man's drink, and obviously, because I drink it now, it's gay.
So I will say that 97% of my viewership is male. Mm-hmm. And thanks to YouTube, I have that data. But that could easily be because maybe girls don't like my face. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of women that drink whiskey. I know a lot. Like Caitlin drinks whiskey, your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Many of the ambassadors in the industry are female. There's lots of YouTubers that are female now that drink whiskey. Mm-hmm. It's becoming, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, man, I don't even know where to start with that comment. It's just stupid, essentially.
But yeah, so I mean, there's plenty of more. Those are the ones that I had saved because I like to screen cap them as soon as I see them, because I share them on Instagram or whatever. But yeah, there's countless more. We'll probably do this again, in a year's time or so when the comments build themselves back up.
Yeah, but, definitely start saving them more often because I let some doozies go and I don't even know what I did with them. I got to stop muting people too because like that gives me the opportunity to see them.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I've ever muted anyone except for like those spam comments that you get,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those spam comments. I was wondering if one of us was going to bring that up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think they're widespread because I saw Eric Wade talk about them too. Just like, they're advertising. I don't know.
It's usually like
some sort of sex site or something.
Thing. Yeah, it's some sort of sex thing usually. Mm-hmm. Weird. Okay, I guess we should definitely move on to how long has this segment been? This is a long.
I don't know how long it's been.
It's been a while. I feel like it's been a good 40 minutes of just this.
All right. Well, you want to talk about the whiskey?
Should we talk about the whiskey? Should we talk about what's happening in Whiskey Tube?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about what we think about this whiskey, and then we'll move into our secondary market finds, which will also be Laphroaig stuff. And then we'll talk about a channel that reviews some amazing Laphroaig bottles.
Yeah.
We'll keep it Laphroaig focused. So you're drinking batch 12. This is batch 7. Again, we think that for what you're getting in this bottle, it is good value. I think that, around, 90 to 100 US dollars for what you're getting is definitely good quality.
I'm going to put this out there. I would take this over pretty much any peated cask strength whiskey on the market right now. And that's a high praise in my opinion, because Octomore is great, but Octomore also costs like 150 more US.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, there's not much to complain about here. You can drink it neat. You got a little bit of water. It goes a little bit longer. It gets a little sweeter. The viscosity is great. I love all sorts of notes. Like you were saying that you were getting like vegetal notes earlier.
Yeah, this thing really is full of unique complexity. So I was getting like these like vegetal notes plus like a lot of herbal notes. Like the herb aspect in this is crazy. Plus I was getting like weird stuff like soup broth, and then you get like there's definitely sherry influence in this. So I was getting like the typical red fruits you'd expect with a sherry cask, and then on the finish it's like very mineral. You definitely get a lot of peat, a lot of coastal notes, like the saltiness, the brininess comes through, but it seems like it's very well balanced in with everything else.
Absolutely.
This batch is definitely a really good one for sure. I haven't had too many. I've only had this one, yours, and one other, which I kind of forget. I think it was maybe batch 8 or 9.
I don't think I've tried yours. I think I tried 10, 11, and 12. And 11 was given to me anyway by our buddy Jasper, the sample anyway. Really good. Mm-hmm. That's what prompted me to go out and get this batch 12. But I honestly think that I'll be buying this every opportunity I get from now on because it's fantastic.
Yeah, and for the price, you can't go wrong. Like you said, compare it to other stuff. I mean, I guess the competitors to this would be something like a Coy of Reckon or a Ugadel, which you can get a little bit cheaper for sure. But I think the complexity in this is more than those Ardbegs. And for the Octomore is a unique profile, especially the 0.3s, and those are more money. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with this one. I mean, you look at the Cask Strength Kolilas, most of those are unpeated. There is a peated Cask Strength Kolila? I'm trying to remember now.
Peated, I don't. Well, there's the Gordon and MacPhail ones.
There's lots of independent bottles of that for sure.
One of the Gordon MacPhail ones that you tracked down was really, really good.
Yeah, Gordon MacPhail bottles some good Kolila for sure.
Kolila is bottled by a lot of independent bottlers, and they're usually really good.
They're usually better than the distillery releases.
Yeah, I agree. It's because Diageo doesn't like. Well, maybe that'll change now, but even that, like, they didn't include them in that whole cask strength range.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But what are you going to score this bad boy?
Well, let's get to the scores at the end, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a high mark for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Really, like on my end, as the glass sits, it gets sweeter and sweeter, and I just love it. It's one of the go-tos for me. I'm glad we reviewed it now that I can bring this down to my drinking area.
Yeah. And like this bottle, like the fill level is just touching the shoulder. Like this thing's going to open up, I'm sure, and be probably a very different whiskey once I sip it down a bit more,
For sure. What's the ABV on yours?
56.3.
This one's 60.1.
Wow. Okay. some serious. So that's quite a bit more ABV.
Yeah.
Yeah, 56.3 seems actually a little bit low, but for 10 years old.
Yeah, it's that who knows? You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get.
Let's move on to our secondary market find. So we're talking Laphroaig, and we're talking Cask Strength Laphroaig. Did you know that there is a 21-year-old Laphroaig Cask Strength that was released?
I did not. Is that like a Fleisch-Ela or however you pronounce that release?
I don't know if it was a Figiel release or not.
That's how you say it, Figiel. That's gonna get some bad comments for that one.
But yeah, interesting. And that went for,
I think you were saying earlier, 1,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, so just over 1,000 pounds for that one, and only 750 bottles were ever made of it. So quite rare for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a delicious whiskey as well.
Oh, I would love to try that. After my experience with that 18-year-old, 48%, I could just imagine how good that is.
Yeah, 100%. And another bottle that Laphroaig that is available at auction, actually right now, there's one up at whiskyauctioneer.com. At one point in time, this was the number one Scotch whiskey on Whiskey Base. If you've seen my "What's the Best Whiskey of All Time" video, this was the number one whiskey in that video. It is the 1967 Samaroli Laphroaig 15-year-old Cherrywood. So these ones definitely considered some of the best. I think that a different Samaroli occupies the number one spot on Whiskey Base right now, but this is number two. They kind of fluctuate back and forth. One went for 31,000 pounds already so far this year at auction. There's one currently on sale or for auction right now at time of recording right now. It's at 23,000 pounds.
Wow.
So Rob, get your paddle out and bid on this bad boy.
Yeah. You know what? Before I die, I need to try a Samaroli. Did we try? Was that 12-year-old Springbank that Mike and Narby sent to us? Was that a Samaroli? No, right?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Samaroli. They still have actually yet to review that, and actually, we're going to talk about them coming up right now. But no, so they sent us an old style Springbank, but it wasn't the Samaroli bottling. And if you guys don't know Samaroli, you can check out my video, "What's the Best Whiskey of All Time?" because I get into kind of the history of Samaroli and his barrel picks just being the most legendary stuff ever bottled. So definitely check that out. And if you want to check out some videos of some people who actually own these bottles and drink them, check out our good friends at Malt Reviews. Mike and Narby started a whiskey channel, I think 5 years ago or so. They kind of specialize in these like auction bottles, very rare, very unique, even some crazy ultra rare museum style piece bottles. And their palates, their tasting notes are some of the best you've ever seen for sure.
Yeah.
We love watching those guys.
Honestly, Mike and Narby, they review the best stuff. I think that's the only reason why they are lesser known than some of the other YouTubers out there, the other whiskey tubers out there, because they're great guys. They are very humble dudes considering what they're drinking. And honestly, it's a likable channel, great reviews in general. I don't understand like what people want. Like when I look at reviews, the reason why I started reviews is because of reviews like theirs. Like, and I did watch them before I started my channel. I'm looking up like the coolest whiskeys that I'll probably never, like, I'm living vicariously through them because I know I probably will never get a chance to try half of the stuff that they tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting take, and you see whiskeys and you see these guys drinking them, and most of these are all collecting bottles. So like most of the time you'll never see a review on this whiskey because the only people that are drinking it are people that don't do reviews, right? Like most of the time these bottles are just collecting dust on people's shelves because the price of them goes up every single year, and the exponentially, increase in value. And you'd have to be, an idiot to open these things. And these guys, like, they love cracking the bottle, and I admire that. That's the thing I actually admire most is they actually try every single bottle that they have. Well, it's a great perspective on ultra premium whiskey.
Yeah, it's interesting what you just said there. Like, that's the general perception is that people think you're an idiot for opening a bottle that was always meant to be a drink. Like, it's always been meant to be open. Like, that's why it was produced. That's why whiskey is produced. It's meant to be consumed. It's not meant to sit in a bottle for 100 years and then like just increase in value. Yeah. We joke about that now. We talk about that all the time. Actually, there's another bottle that nobody will ever open, and like the newest Eagle Rare, the one that's like what $17,000 to start.
Yep. Double very rare or whatever it's called.
Yeah, whatever it's called. It's another bottle that nobody will ever open. And I guess for good reason. Like, I guess money means that much to these guys, but at the same time, a bottle like that's meant to be consumed by someone that can afford that whiskey, not purchased and then flipped by people that are just using it as an investment. I mean, I'm guilty. I've done it before, and but I really admire what Mike and Narby do, because Mike was driving a $500 car and bought a $10,000 whiskey.
Yeah, right. Yeah, their passion is just unmatched, and really awesome channel. So I'm sure most of our viewers already watch them, but if you don't, go subscribe to Malt Reviews, Mike and Narby. Awesome stuff. Yep. Let's score this bad boy. What are you going to give this Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength?
Man, I'm having trouble not giving this one like a 91. I think based on the price, based on what I'm looking for in a whiskey these days, I think I got to go with a 91, man. It may sound high, but I think that's what it is.
I think I'm pretty much right there with you. I think for this one, I would probably go 89, then bump it up a point for value to make it a nice even 90. I just think that the complexity, the profile, it's a heavy hitter. It's a big whiskey, and for the price, I don't think you can beat it. It's really good.
Really hard to beat. And it is batch by batch. So there are Laphroaig 10-year-olds that are not as good as other Laphroaig 10-year-old cask strengths, right? So
yeah, each batch will be different. So this is, again, batch 7. Rob's got 12. So those are opinions on that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for listening and watching. You know where to find us, Whiskey in the Six and Super Social Club. We review whiskey on YouTube. Come check us out. We're in the works for doing a little Whisky Rant merchandise. We should have some challenge coins in the upcoming months. So keep watching for updates on that.
I want a Whisky Rant hoodie.
There you go. Well, I mean, we can just do everything, I guess.
Yeah, we should.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, thanks for tuning in, and have a good one. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.